coast of California, which is the area from Sonoma County down to the bottom of Monterey County, Big Sur, are slated for 2 lease sales in 2027 and 2029. Northern California, Mendocino North, 1 lease sale in 2029, and then 3 lease sales in Southern California, mostly Santa Barbara, probably Ventura, other areas. Interestingly, the central coast of California, next slide please. Okay, and here's another slide about the Bureau of Offshore Energy Management's process. We are here, we're at a 60-day public comment period, which I'll talk about in a moment. Interestingly, one of the things that the Trump administration has proposed is that once these lease sales go ahead, that there be no public comment. You know, he's arguing that national security dictates with AI sucking up so much energy use that we need offshore drilling to meet that, and that therefore it's a national security need. But for the 5-year plan itself, we still have the public comment period. I'll talk about that in a moment. After the public comment period is done, we'll have a draft environmental impact statement. Next slide, please. What could this mean for our coastline? Offshore oil brings a lot of different maladies with it. The threat of oil spills. Of course, we had the Deepwater Horizon spill in the 2000s. We had the Santa Barbara spill in 1969, which really, I think, woke up many Californians to the need to protect the environment. Harm to marine life, and we can go deep and far in terms of what that threat is. Increased air pollution. Federal waters 300 to 200 miles offshore are not subject to the same air quality standards that areas onshore are. So while we have to be very careful with our air emissions, offshore energy does not. Acceleration of climate change, of course. Production of oil itself is an accelerant for climate change, as well as the use of fossil fuels. And of course, industrialization of our coastline, which is what the blue wall is about, and I will talk about that in a moment. Next slide, please. So the Central Coast has 3 contiguous national marine sanctuaries within it. From the north, starting Sonoma County, we have Greater Farallones National Marine Sanctuary, established in 1980, expanded in 2014. Next to that is Cordell Bank, which was established a few years later and later expanded. Then, of course, we have Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary, established in 1992, which extends from San Francisco, or the southern boundary of Greater Farallones and Cordell Bank, down to the bottom of Big Sur and further down into Cambria. Why does the administration want to drill in an area where there are marine sanctuaries? This is an interesting point of debate. Marine sanctuaries contain a ban on offshore drilling under the National Marine Sanctuaries Act. Offshore oil, of course, is also governed by the OCS Lands Act. You have young staffers at the Bureau of Ocean Energy Management, which are running this program, who say, oh, well, we don't necessarily recognize that. In fact, the last time a president signed a memo saying marine sanctuaries were exempt from offshore drilling was in early 2008. And since then, we've had 3 marine sanctuaries in the Central Coast area, all 3 of them expand. And so they consider those expansion areas to be fair game. Or the way they put it in their initial offering for this process was, marine sanctuaries don't necessarily ban offshore drilling per se, which of course we know is wrong, because the National Marine Sanctuaries Act is very clear in many different ways, and Jane's shaking her head. She understands this because she was there when this was established. So we have 3 marine sanctuaries to protect. Monterey Bay was expanded in 2008 with the addition of Davidson Seamount, which is an underwater volcano. It's 10,000 feet high. It's a very high volcano. Its summit is 4,000 feet below the ocean surface. It's about 80 miles southwest of Monterey, and has lots of precious minerals. Probably too deep to drill, but not too deep to have precious metals subject to seabed mining. And of course, Cordell Bank and Greater Farallones do have areas where the expansion was that could be accessible for offshore drilling. Where we are in the offshore drilling plan right now, they're very vague about what their intentions are. Once we see the environmental impact statement, this will get a lot more clear. Yes?
Which precious metals?
I'm sorry?
Which precious metals?
Oh, lithium, and several others.
Oh, that's dangerous.
Yeah.
There's a presentation on that, right?
What
Yeah,
did he
George
say?
will be going into that. George is the expert. So next slide. So I mentioned the public comment period. The deadline for public comments is the 23rd of January, 9 o'clock our time, midnight on the East Coast. So it's pretty easy to do. Regulations.gov is the website. And you go on there and you search BOEM, Bureau of Offshore Energy Management, -202, oops, typo, that's my fault, 2025, it should not say
We've
2024.
got it on here too.
We
You
have
got it on there, thank you.
Yeah.
You said you need myself. 0483. So, and you can see this in many different places. You can submit your comment. You don't have to be an expert or a scientist. You could be a concerned citizen, but you could talk about your favorite beach. You could talk about recreation. You could talk about what you do in the water, why it's important to you. And the idea is, in the initial comments for this 5-year plan, there were 100,000 comments.